Good morning, guys. Um, just got up a little bit ago. Getting ready to have a cup of coffee. Uh, Start my day. I'm gonna make ginger snap cookies today. Yesterday we made the most amazing molasses cookies. Um, if you ever decide to get into baking or want some recipe ideas, Joy of Baking. Um, it's a YouTube channel. One of the best channels in the entire world. Hold on for me 1 second. I gotta grab a coffee cup and some coffee. All right, sorry about that. But anyhow, I'm actually making her ginger snaps today. If it turns out half as good as the other cookies, pies, and cakes I've made for her, uh, it'll be awesome. So, but I gotta get all the butter out, the eggs out, make sure they're at room temperature. And then I'm also gonna make some French toast. I think for breakfast, it took me a minute to decide what I wanted for breakfast. Yeah, so I spent that thinking about the news, taking my medicines, and planning my day. But uh, French toast is what it's going to be. I'll probably have eggs with it too. So anyhow, while I'm getting this stuff together, um, I want to talk on something that some people, I'm sure, will tell me I'm wrong. I don't really care, but it seems to have been the topic on Facebook, at least on my Facebook page or my news feed at any rate, that people, I don't know if we're not doing any kind of research or what's going on, but everybody keeps saying now that we've elected a Democratic president that gas prices are going to go up and people are going to lose their jobs in the oil industry and that the world is going to fall apart and come to an end. Now that's not so much true. This is some of the best stuff ever, by the way. It is a Irish cream uh, coffee creamer, homemade. Also, if you want the recipe for this, I can give it to you. Got it off of Facebook. I don't even remember now who had it on their feed, but it was 23 different types of coffee creamer. Anyhow, so let's talk about gas prices for a minute. All right, gas prices fluctuate. They go up and down. That's natural fact of life. What everybody is concerned with is the fact that we have a Democratic president in office now, and he's going to make gas prices go up. Here's the reality of it. Gas prices are controlled simply by supply and demand. Supply and demand is, in this case, because it can go one of two different directions, but in the oil industry case, if demand outweighs supply, there are more people who want it than they have in stock, so to speak. Um, in order to slow the want down, they raise the price. That's usually when you hear like when refineries have to shut down for maintenance or repair or inclement weather, um, things of that nature, which have happened over the past. Hurricanes, fires, things like that will shut a refinery down. And then they can't produce as much gas. People still need gas, and it goes up, or oil, across the board. So that is what controls the price of gas, not the government. The only control the government has, there's two things the government has control over when it comes to oil. One of them is the president has the ability to open up the oil reserves, which has been done twice in recent history. Once with President Bush, um, and that was to help during Katrina. and to help lower gas prices because one of the refineries went down in the south, and they had to. He popped that open in order to help stabilize cost of fuel. The other was with President Obama, and that was to help during the recession to keep gas prices kind of in check. I mean, they were still like $4 a gallon, $5 a gallon, even as high as $7, depending on where you were. But that's really the only influence it has other than taxes. Now, taxes have been around on fuel since for gas, well, gas or diesel, since 1932. They started out as a penny per gallon. Since 1932, so we're talking 90 years, 88 years, they have gone up a whole 17 cents. Gas tax on federal level now is 18 cents a gallon. So it's not like it's been a dramatic increase across the board. Most of that tax goes for infrastructure. That being said, yes, I vape, but it's, this will only be until after the first of the year, and I think I'm going to quit it too. So let's talk about what could happen. All right, so everybody's wigging out because President-elect wants to take us a different direction with solar and wind and all that stuff. How is that going to affect the oil industry? Okay, well, yes, it will affect it some. Now, but if you pay any attention in the news or even with most of the major oil manufacturers, they're already heading in that direction. They're already looking at alternative fuels and things of that nature. But to say that the oil industry is just going to go away altogether isn't true. There are over 6,000 products made with oil. Gas is just one of them. Yes, gas is kind of a major player in that, but even at that, that's not going to go away. Nobody, the U.S. government, car manufacturers, nobody is going to flip a switch overnight and buy us all electric cars and, find some magical thing to lube moving parts in a vehicle overnight. That's just not going to happen. Like I said, there are over 6,000 things created with oil. So the oil industry may become smaller, it may be reduced, but it will never go away. All things get smaller and reduced. That's part of the evolution of humans. If it wasn't, we would still be in the Stone Age, the Bronze Age, the Iron Age. Plastic would not exist, which plastic is one of those major things made with oil, unless it's made with corn or soy, which is so expensive. The thought of being able to turn that over into mass production, the cost of it for a business, small or medium, even large businesses, is pretty extensive. You can see that with biodegradable plastic cups and straws. Ask any restaurant owner; they'll tell you the cost of those is crazy compared to a styrofoam or a paper cup with wax on it, or oil, food grade petroleum based wax, or plastic straws, which come from crude oil. Well, part of it comes from crude oil. The whole thing isn't made with crude oil. So that being said, that's not going to go away. So you will still have a market for it. The Stone Age no longer exists, but we still have stone workers. We still have cement. We still have artists who make things out of rocks. We still have things made out of metal. The industrial age was replaced with the technological age. Nike does not make tennis shoes out of wood. All things evolve. This is just another step. I think in some ways we should find that interesting. You could say, yeah, but there are going to be people losing their jobs. And that could be true. Well, I mean, sure, in some ways it is true. But here's kind of what the plan is. if you're older and near retirement in the oil industry, I'm sure you'll retire or just move to a different sector in the job you do. I know I worked in the oil industry for a little while. I drilled wells. When they shut down drilling production, they moved me to a different department. Um, and a lot of that might be wind, solar power. You may do that. You may end up moving to have to do that. Will it be fun? No. Will it be necessary? Kinda. Our planet's falling apart. Even if you don't believe in uh, global warming, I'm here to tell you global warming is a natural fact. That's what creates ice ages. Um, but because of the CO2 emissions that we're emitting into the air, we're speeding up that process, which is why the hurricanes have gotten a little more frequent, a little bigger. Um, Fires out on the West Coast have become a little more prevalent. Now, yes, that is natural. Fires are natural. Hurricanes are natural. Tornadoes are natural. But the size, scale, and grandeur of it all, not so much. That's the thing. All that is natural. Your politicians who say, "Well, this is just the way nature works." You're right. That's the way nature works, just not at this level. Global warming is real. We're just speeding it up. Now, the planet will survive. The Earth will always be here. Us as a human race, maybe not so much. So I don't want you to think that just because there's change and change is inevitable, because it is. It's the one constant we have in our lives. Um, that millions of Americans are going to be out of work. They transition. These companies already expected this. They are already transitioning or preparing for transition at any rate to do other things, and they won't let their employees down. Like I said, even the current or the soon to be current administration with the Democrats, um, there's a plan involved that it entails more new jobs, including infrastructure, wind and solar. We're a hot mess. Me and Chris were talking the other day, and it came down to, even if we went, let's say we got rid of natural gas altogether, and there was no more natural gas. We quit using natural gas, and we were relying solely on electric, and it was solely solar and wind. Okay, we've hit that stage. Now, that being said, if we flip that switch tomorrow, half of us would freeze. Most of us would freeze because our infrastructure, our electrical infrastructure, all the wires hanging above us and below us, couldn't handle the power increase to run all electric furnaces. To run everything we need. Think about it. During the summertime, when everybody's got their AC on, the power goes out on a pretty regular basis in some states, especially heavy populated ones. So I don't see that. You have to be able to fix one thing. That's how out of step we are as a nation. Uh, Another thing I kind of want to touch on real quick, and I'll make this real quick because I think I could do a whole other video on this, and this is bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. Matter of fact, we will make this another video, but I want to talk about bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. What are the pros and cons to this? But right now, I just wanted this video to be about letting you know that the oil industry is not going to go away. Gas prices, if they go up, it's due to supply and demand. Um, I don't honestly believe in my heart of hearts that people are going to lose their jobs tomorrow. That's just not a reality. The only thing that moves slower than change is our government, and that's by design. So I think that's all we're going to talk about today. I love you. You have a great day. Stay safe, and I will talk to you later. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye.